blue corner, Aleksander Potehhin.
Копал, куда подевался, напал, ну-ка подрывайся, коп по делам. Без рейсов, шум балаган, догорели фонари, горовень космон. Дать вам знать, тропа бам-бам-бам. Во дворах этикеты спамыч, петли зла, никуда дива. Контроль замера, дадели за ствол, перезаливай на галике эсфал. Доброта купила меня неспроста, ты вырен сам, это пьедестал. Заруби, надо все под матч, я не сдамся, камон, я не сдамся, камон.
From the broadcast booth, I am your host, Steve Stewart, joined by your other host here, the venerable Aleksi. Thank you all for joining us. Aleksi, this looks like an incredible night of fights here, getting started in the IMMAF rule set. Tell me about the card, tell me about this fight.
I think, first of all, I'm very happy to be back at the beach for Cage on the Beach Volume 2.
Absolutely.
Because I do enjoy these winter months and I want to spend them shorts and t-shirt if possible. We have a great night of fights. Omran Shaban, Niko Aikonen, Omar Tugarev, the best and some of the most talented professional fighters in the country right now. But the IMMAF portion is equally impressive with some of the best amateur talent that we have to offer.
Absolutely, and when we get started here with Aleksander Potehhin,
To the red corner, Aleksi Sahlberg.
and now we have walking to the cage, Aleksi Sahlberg, a talented boxer, fast and athletic, and a heavy-handed puncher. He's going to take on tonight Aleksander Potehhin out of Estonia, who is himself tall, big, strong fighter with good distance management.
And if you look at Sahlberg's background, he has a boxing background. He's actually a two-time junior national champion in Finland in boxing. His father is a pro boxer and a very talented striker. Not too much experience in MMA, but very high expectations of this young man. And his opponent, Aleksander Potehhin, like you said, very tall, fighting out of Tallinn, Estonia, but he actually has fought most of his fights in Denmark. And he used to live there and compete against the best. I think most of his losses are actually to the reigning or previous national champions of Denmark. So don't let the record fool you. The Estonian Potehhin is a very, very worthy challenger here tonight.
Absolutely, and of course, you know, having a good amount of height on his opponent, I think it's going to help him here. Okay, we go to the tail of the tape, and as you can see, that height advantage and a slight reach advantage in the favor of Aleksander Potehhin. Not too much discrepancy between the records, but of course, Potehhin is 5 years Sahlberg's senior.
In the blue corner, Estonian fighter with an amateur record of 3 wins and 5 losses, weighing 70.3 kilos, Aleksander Potehhin. And in the red corner, Porvoo-based Finnish fighter with an amateur record of 2 wins and 2 losses, weighing 70.9 kilos, representing MMA Lab, fighting out of Porvoo, Finland, Aleksi Sahlberg.
Here we go. We're now underway. Our first fight of the evening here at Beatsy. That's Cage on the Beach, and immediately we see a takedown.
I think
that was a smart move from Aleksander Potehhin. He has really done his homework because Sahlberg has been out-grappled before. I'm not saying he's completely unaware of what's happening or he doesn't have tools to work off of his back, but he does have the tendency to play a bit too much jiu-jitsu instead of trying to work his way back to the feet, to the striking where he's at his best. And he is a heavy-handed puncher, so even though there is a height difference standing, you saw during the tail of the tape that the reach is almost equal.
Right, yeah. And of course, when you have these shorter rounds, you know, having time to work in order to try and set up a submission can be a little bit difficult. As well, you're dealing with the disadvantage. You do have the shin guard and things like that you have to try and work around.
Yeah, but Sahlberg is going for that ankle lock, and he has a good distance control with both feet, but you have to be very careful here. Now great work.
Yeah, good reversal, got to his feet.
Yeah.
Potehhin now pushed up against the cage and eating some knees there to the bread basket.
I am expecting Sahlberg to look for inside control, getting the hands on the inside and getting back to the striking distance. He's doing very well in controlling Potehhin against the cage, though.
Yep. Potehhin's trying to dig that underhook so that he can switch the position and find himself again on the outside, maybe get some distance. But here we see that Sahlberg potentially trying to soften him up, make sure he's doing damage, and control the distance for this particular short round.
And if you can see, at least in the few exchanges in the clinch, it looks like Sahlberg is the more physical athlete of the two. So always, even though being tall has a lot of advantages when it comes especially to striking and setting up certain submissions from the bottom position, but it does come with, it's always you lose something with that height.
Right.
And usually, especially with the core power in these clinch positions, the strong position when standing, you lose that a little bit when you're getting pushed and pulled by your opponent.
Yeah, and when you're the taller fighter, here you see the head position, right? You're able to, the taller fighter ends up having the shorter fighter's head right in their neck, and they're able to push, you know, up against you. And again, then choose when to tee off like this. Oh, and he does, absolutely. Sahlberg cracks him, and he cracks him again.
Few great punches by Sahlberg to finish the round.
Incredible. Very high tempo at that ending stanza. I really quite like that. I'm having a bit of trouble, you know, determining who kind of took that one, but my guess is that Aleksi Sahlberg did enough.
Yeah, especially with the strikes and the shots landed in the end. And I also think he had a bit more cage control time despite the early takedown by Aleksander Potehhin. But damage is the #1 criteria for scoring, and I think, well, I'm not a judge, thankfully, but I do think Sahlberg got that round.
Yeah, that's my take on it, and I think I'm excited to see how the second stanza opens up. Specifically because Potehhin probably thinks that he is behind from that first one. So let's see how this develops. All right, the second stanza begins, and immediately Sahlberg lunges forward, throwing heavy leather. Leg kick lands, and he begins to work that jab from the southpaw stance. Oh, hard front kick. Oh, and a Superman punch return fire from Potehhin. Spinning back kick. But Sahlberg, unfazed, just continues to push and pressure forward. Throws one to the bread basket. Tries to fend off that takedown. Let's see if he's able to.
Potehhin has the hands locked, gets the takedown.
Yeah, and this is an interesting change because now we have to see, did Sahlberg work his way to the feet last time on his own merit, or was it a kind of a circumstantial method.
I think I have to say that was his own merit. He very well got underneath Potehhin to the single legs. He was threatening the ankle lock and then got the sweep and worked back to his feet. So that was 100% his own merit. But I don't know if he's able to pull that move off again. At least now, Potehhin is keeping his base down, staying low very well. So, like these positions, I would like to see Sahlberg push exactly like that, try to create distance, and it also opens up the entries to the legs if he wants to look for that single legs guard again.
Right.
But you need to create distance to get underneath. Or the other option is you want to tie up and stay really close and work more of a half guard positions to work your way back to the feet or work sweeps. But that kind of middle distance, or when the top player has full hip control, is very, very difficult to play that kind of grappling game in mixed martial arts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's looking for that single legs again. Now Potehhin is keeping his base a lot lower and controlling the neck and head of Sahlberg, which makes it harder because when you're crouched, like your chin is close to your chest, it's kind of hard to get your hip up and create that distance to get the leg to the outside rape.
All your posture going towards the center line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
he's working for that arm, but the positioning looks quite off to my eye. Can't quite roll for an omoplata or anything of that nature. Perhaps if he reaps that leg and
you can finish an armbar there, but I don't think he's quite deep enough to finish that.
And then with these short rounds now, if you don't have that pressure to get up, you don't have that pace to get up, unfortunately, with not a whole lot of maybe damage inflicted, this round likely does go to Potehhin.
Yeah, that's true. But because the one big difference between 3 and 5 minute rounds, well, of course, shin guards help and there's more traction between the fighters, but when you're fighting 3-minute rounds, even giving up a single takedown and let's say a minute and a half of control time, you might lose the round just based on that. But in a 5-minute round during a professional fight, you get taken down once, the guy controls you 1 minute, you stand up, you still have 4 minutes to work. So and create the damage and make the difference in the judges' eyes.
Yeah, and here we see that takedown.
Milliklubilla. Case-tapahtumalipolla ilmanen sisäänpääsy koko illan.
Yeah, immediately he secures that position, and unfortunately Sahlberg wasn't able to do much in the way of actually getting back to the feet for that round. He did stay busy and stay active, and he didn't absorb a whole lot of damage, but unfortunately he was not in a position of control.
Yeah, I would like to see Potehhin, he had great control, but I would like to see a little bit more ground and pound or threatening the submissions, like a little bit more aggressiveness from top position, but that was still, he fought well and he won the round.
Yeah, absolutely. Third and final, and I have it one more.
Or he likely won the round.
Likely.
Yeah.
1-1 going into this third stanza if you have my scorecard, which of course means absolutely nothing. Big overhand right, and then left behind it, but then Potehhin shoots in on that takedown.
And he has his hands locked in again, locked together.
Trying to punish a little bit, but nothing doing. He's picked up and dumped.
But now Sahlberg is working back to his feet.
Very good, of course, as you mentioned. He can't stay there long.
Great reversal by Sahlberg.
Not as expected. Oh, and he immediately tries for an arm lock.
Going for the Kimura. Oh, that's behind the back. He can actually finish this. Great! What a great counter submission by Aleksi Sahlberg. The boxer has some submission moves, right?
Absolutely. A quick twist of fate and a quick twist of that arm. And unfortunately, Potehhin immediately understood, hey, this is not going in a good direction, and tapped out. Shoulder appears to be in pain. Let's hope that that's a quick recovery and nothing's badly injured. But that was a really impressive way to win from Sahlberg.
And you could see the change of attitude. I don't know what they said, Sahlberg's coaches said to him between the second and third round, but you could definitely see the urgency and aggressiveness in the defense during the clinch. Yeah, he was striking aggressively in the second too, but these positions, he was actively trying
for
Right.
going for reversals. He was threatening submissions, and he was trying to even out-muscle in some extent.
I think it kind of registered with him. You cannot get put on your back again and stay
Yeah.
there.
And-
like
yeah,
that was
exactly.
probably a good
Yeah.
part of what they said. And so he had a greater sense of urgency coming into this third round. You saw it with those big punches early, and then when he finally got taken down, he refused to stay there and went for that reversal, got that arm, cranked it behind Potehhin's back, and just tried to take it home with him. That looks brutal right there.
Yeah, and especially
Ooh.
with the cage blocking, that Kimura was tight. That was
Yeah,
really
this
tight.
was a very good maneuver right there.
Yeah, but a great setup and a great finish by the young Aleksi Sahlberg.
Yeah, very good. Hyped to see his next performance as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first fight of the night ends after 42 seconds of the third round. Winner by armbar, Aleksi Sahlberg!
There you have Aleksi Sahlberg, the victor tonight in this amateur matchup. Our first here at Cage 65 on the beach, and we will go now to our next fight shortly. Sahlberg taking that victory lap home to the locker room. Probably going to celebrate here tonight.